Once again, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. It's time once again to deep dive into the Home Alone vault. Which again, I only acknowledge the first two movies and don't acknowledge any other existence to any of the other Home Alone movies because they're dead to me. Is it that time already to open up this vault of Home Alone again? Because there's a sequel that came out. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. The movie plot is simple. Kevin McAllister is left home alone in New York. Figure that one out, ladies and gentlemen, because we're already starting off to a great start. When you have a movie titled Home Alone, Lost in New York, when you don't even have a home in New York City to be home alone in, you might as well call this movie Parents Abandons Child Running Through an Airport and Gets on the Wrong Plane, Lost in New York. But that's too long of a title, so we just stick with the Home Alone name. So there you go. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. But of course, this movie starts off like the first movie. You got the McAllister family running through the house once again, but this time they're preparing for a Christmas pageant. Ooh! And there's some weird, strange cop in their living room this time, standing around asking, when are you guys leaving for the holidays so we can rob you? Nope, nobody's there to rob them this time around. But with them rushing around for the holidays, Kevin McAllister is dressed in a nice, fine suit for a Christmas pageant. And there he is, playing around with a video cassette recorder that was dubbed as the Talk Boy. Do you remember these from the 90s? When they came out, everybody I knew had one of these, including myself and my sister. Although they made a girl version called the Talk Girl that my sister owned. And it came with a cassette tape with it. One side had sound effects and stuff from the Home Alone movie. And then the other side was just a blank cassette for you to record and be just as creative as Kevin McAllister was. I mean, he even takes this into the bathroom and records his Uncle Frank singing to Cool Jerk while trying to get his tie. Are we ready to dive into Uncle Frank? Hang on. I need one more hit. Hang on. Oh. Here we go with Uncle Frank. But before I get to there, let me take another swig for Buzz. Hang on. Don't worry, it's just coffee. It's my morning coffee. Let me take another one for the family. Hang on. Oh, I think that's all. Oh my goodness, here we go. They get to the Christmas pageant, all right? Of course, back into the shower scene with Uncle Frank. Yeah, that's weird to say. He's in there singing. Of course, Kevin, of course, being the kid that he is, records him singing. And he basically tells him to get out of here, you nosy little pervert, or I'm going to slap you silly. What a great uncle this guy is. Man, what a great uncle. But don't worry, Uncle Frank. Kevin's great in these upcoming scenes here. So we get to the Christmas pageant. Of course, Buzz is doing a prank, being a jerk with the candlesticks there, glowing behind the kid's ears, then drumming on his head. And next thing, Kevin realizes what's happening as the crowd laughs hysterically. Of course, the family's like mortified by this, except for Uncle Frank, of course. Oh, this is where Uncle Frank comes in, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Frank is the biggest jerk of the family. He's sitting there laughing at his own nephew being humiliated by in front of everybody else. But don't worry. Kevin punches Buzz, and the entire cast falls over. And next thing, the tree falls and hits the piano lady, and she goes a-flying. But then they have a big family meeting about what happened. And basically, this is where Buzz, oh goodness. You thought Buzz was a jerk in the last movie. Buzz is more of a He's still a jerk, but he's more of a mature jerk. And he just starts off with the conversation saying, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And he goes off with this spill of a fake apology that the family buys into and is all buzzed. That's so nice of you to say. So blinded by him. Oh my goodness. But then Kevin, of course, doesn't apologize. He gets right up in everybody's faces and just tells it like it is. But then, oh, here it is. Uncle Frank 101. Here we go. You ready for this one? You ready for some Uncle Frankisms right here? You better not wreck my trip, you little sourpuss. Your dad's paying good money for this. And Kevin comes with this line. Oh, I don't want to spoil your fun, Mr. Cheapskate. Calling him out. He calls Uncle Frank out in this movie and realizes he's just sponging off his brother. Oh, Peter, why do you put up with your brother? Seriously. What is wrong with Uncle Frank? But everybody has jaws dropped. Fast forward to the airport scene. Of course, once again, that jockey statue gets hit. Running gag, I guess. And they're running through the airport, but Kevin's biggest concern is finding batteries. He's trying to find batteries. Dad, I need batteries. And here's the problem, kid. This is why you got left behind. You were so confused about the batteries. You were trying to get the batteries for your tape recorder. You didn't need them right then and there. You could have waited and got the batteries on the plane. And this is why the kid was left behind. It wasn't necessarily the family's fault. Yes, the family was running like maniacs through the airport once again and really needed to be taught, hey, time management over here, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, their clock was screwed up. So, I mean, what can you do? Oh, goodness. I swear the McAllister family is off the rocker. And this is how he gets left behind. He mistakenly follows another guy that basically has the identical coat of his dad's, and he goes to the direction of New York. So really, I mean, it's Kevin's fault. If you really think about it, it's Kevin's fault, but it's also the family's fault for not making sure their son's with them. They're just going about to get them to get to the airport plane. And so there you go. Once you realize that both they're separated, the story goes on with this. Kevin basically has his vacation happening in New York. The family over here has a downpour torrential rain going on in Florida. They're not enjoying it. There's nothing exciting about their trip, of course. And they're trying to find where he's missing at. And of course, they finally discover that he's lost in New York because Kevin checks into the Plaza Hotel, New York's most finest hotel experience. So Kevin checks into this hotel. He's very crafty with it, too. He's fooled everybody. You got people in there like Tim Curry as the concierge. You got a young Rob Schneider in there as basically a busboy trying to carry people's bags. He gets tipped in gum, from Kevin. And, they're all suspicious about this kid, and rightfully so. Why would a kid walk in with a credit card and check into a hotel? Number one, why would you allow such a thing to happen? You should be like, sorry, kid, you need to wait till your dad gets here. But he uses the credit card. And of course, so the concierge is sneaking around into the room. He encounters, basically another shower incident with Uncle Frank's thing playing in the background, and it's an inflatable clown that's in there. And yeah, Kevin's living it up. He's got a limousine with a pizza and compliments of the Plaza Hotel. And of course, he goes to the toy store. He meets Mr. Duncan. He's very excited about this. He gets 2 turtle doves, which later on he gives to the pigeon lady. I forgot to mention about the pigeon lady. The pigeon lady is a cool character. At first, she's a little scary and creepy because she's this homeless person living in the park amongst the pigeons. But she really comes in and saves the day at the end of the movie. And so, after encountering that, guess who we meet again? The Wet Bandits, or now dubbed as the Sticky Bandits. Harry and Marv are back for this action. They're in New York City. They just got out of prison. And they're trying to find their next big job. And that is knocking off toy stores. Brother. And so they plot to take out Duncan's toy chest. And they're in there while Kevin's in there, actually. And as soon as they walk out, they see Kevin. And they try, look who it is. We're going to get him this time. And so basically he screams in the middle of the city. Good call. Runs off, gets away. That's where, he gets back to the hotel. He gets busted about the credit card thing, and, they basically chase him off. They have this whole scene with Angels with Filthy Souls. Again, this time with the hotel people. It was funny with the pizza boy and, of course, with Marv in the other movie. But this is the entire concierge, the hotel staff. It was a classic moment. I'm able to quote this thing word for word, actually. Actually, I'm able to quote probably this entire movie word for word. I've watched it so many times. It's ridiculous. And so after that fact, after all that, the family, of course, learns that he's in New York. They fly to New York. They confront the hotel staff, about what kind of idiots do we have working here. And of course, the lady over there goes, the finest in New York. Like she's proud of this. My goodness, this hotel staff is so terribly funny. It's so great. And of course, there's the whole scene, Kevin, goes to his Uncle Rob's house, which basically looks like it's torn down for renovations and all that stuff. And it becomes the house. It becomes the house with the trap store, Harry and Marv, after they bust him, in the toy store, breaks the window. They chase him to this house. The house is full of traps. And the traps are classic, of course, especially the part where Marv is dumped with all his paint cans, and then he gets electrocuted thinking it was a sink. Actually, it is a sink, but he gets electrocuted. Of course, don't forget the scene where he's like, Harry, I've reached the top. He just takes one step, boom, right into the basement. Classic stuff. Of course, Harry, gets blown up in a toilet when his head's on fire. And of course, we get to the whole scene where they're climbing down this rope. It's a lot of good fun. They have that reenactment, of course, with the stairs, with the paint cans, that you know about last year. And next thing, whoop, hang on, there's a huge pipe coming at them at the end of it. Just realizing, oh, there was a third round. He outsmarted us this time. Of course, I forgot to mention the part where they're chucking bricks. Suck bricks, kid, and throws a brick. But, they eventually get to the park, and they finally catch up with the kid. The gun's pointed at him. He's having a hard time with the gun because, they got all this oil or junk all over them. The pigeon lady shows up and basically yells at the guys, throws bird feed on them. Birds are swooping around them, going after them. It is a classic moment. Cops come, save the day. Of course, Kevin goes back to, goes to Rockefeller Center. Mom's still running around the streets of New York trying to find him. Then she realizes Christmas trees. Yeah, because Kevin loves Christmas trees. So they go to Rockefeller Center, finds Kevin. They have a Merry Christmas at the end of it all. He's back with his family. And, they're in this huge hotel room at the end. It is amazing. And, that's pretty much Home Alone 2 right there. Of course, at the end, the Bill shows up with the young Reb Schneider giving him the bill. And of course, Buzz tips an ABC gum. And then they yell about the bill. Oh, after Kevin gives the turtle dove to the pigeon lady. And that's Home Alone 2. It's a great holiday film classic. And there's some scenes in there that's like, oh goodness, like Uncle Frank and all this fun stuff, of course. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Home Alone 2 for you. That's my review. That's my take. It is a classic movie. Hope you enjoy watching it this holiday season or revisiting it. And we just want to say happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All those great holidays. Be blessed. Stay safe.